Guys, what do we have here? This is the world famous Little Moose, 1.8 pound long-haired Chihuahua, and she's inside this case that I bought for a telescope. Moose, we gotta go, Moose. This isn't your playpen. Alright guys, let me get her out of here and we'll continue with the video at hand. The case that Astro-Physics ships the 110 GTX refractor in is the 1535 Pelican Air case. It's an excellent case, and it does have rolling wheels and a handle on one end and a pull-out handle on the other to facilitate moving it with the rolling wheels. You know, it's almost as if Roland said, geez, what a nice case the 1535 Pelican is. I think I'll design a scope to fit perfectly inside of it. It's got these real nice dividers. It's got this thick end here, the surrounding padding, nice and thick. And it's got these dividers that come with the case, and then as supplied by Roland at Astro-Physics, it's just like this. I haven't changed anything. Now, I outfit my 110 with the tube assembly in the rings and some other items. So this case was just not going to work for me. In fact, this 110 fits so close inside this case that at the tailpiece of the focuser, you can't even have this 2 to 1.25" adapter, nor this piece. I don't know what you call that, but that's actually the adapter that goes from the focuser. Then it goes to this adapter that allows you to go to the 2" to 1.25", and I believe you put your field flattener and other things when you pull this off that fits in here. So what they actually provided and what they made is this cap. That's how close this fits, because you cannot put this entire optical tube assembly in this case. You have to have this and this off of it, and then you use this cool plug that they made when using this case. And I don't know, this is some kind of nylon, Durlon, I'm not sure what material, but it's not aluminum. And by the way, I did a video on this, but these are not supplied by Astro-Physics. I made these extensions because I have arthritis, and the ones that were here were just hard to get to. So we'll put these extenders on, and it makes it so much easier to pull out the 2 to 1.25" eyepiece adapter. So then the question became, what case am I going to use? Now, I procrastinated for quite some time, and when I did put this in the car, I would wrap it very well with shipping blankets. And I thought, you know what, got to get a case. Did some research, and I'll show you what I'm going to use. So let me show you how I outfit this, and I keep it in this configuration. Any telescope that I have that goes into rings, the optical tube stays in the rings, and then I always come up with some kind of a handle arrangement to lift them, because it's much safer, in my opinion, than just picking up the tube itself and setting it in. To me, this saves so much time, but that's how I do it. Let's start out at the base. Here we have the Astro-Physics 12" dovetail plate for D-style saddle plates, and it is their SBD12. Next we have the 2 rings, and they are the Astro-Physics 4.7" diameter rings. Riding up on top is the Astro-Physics 10" saddle plate for both D-style and V-style, the Vixen style bars. This is the DOVE DV10. Now you'll notice that I have the focusing knobs up on top instead of flipped around down here, because of its proximity to the dovetail plate. And so to get to the locking screw on the focuser, it was very hard to get to, at least for me. Again, with my arthritis, sometimes getting it tight was an issue, so that's why this is flipped up like that. Next, we'll note with the SBD12 dovetail plate, this scope is in the rings where they attach at the bottom, because you can see it's scalloped out here on both sides. And these rings fit right in between the tailpiece of the focuser and the dew shield. In fact, I did something here to keep the dew shield a little bit away from the rings and not contacting the rings. So you'll note this little piece. It's one of these little bumpers you can buy that have self-adhesive on the back, and I pulled, use it off and put that up on the rings like you see there, so that way when the dew shield closes, it bumps up against that and not into the rings that you see here. I'm just very, very, very picky, and I wanted to minimize any scratching. That's all. I'm just a little bit like that. Let me pull that out again, and then from this angle right there, and it gives it a nice soft closure. When the dew shield, it doesn't hit and bang, you don't hear anything. It's nice and soft. Now, I did a video on this too, how I come up with these different handles and stuff, and that's why I got the saddle plate up here. Plus I can put other accessories on top with this. But you'll notice that how close this is to the dew shield. So that's why I made these little aluminum spacers on both sides to fur this up, so that way, and also this top plate, this dovetail, it would have hit. So I had to put this in here to keep everything just a bit higher so I could use this top piece. Otherwise, I would not have been able to. And then also recently, guys, I did a video on this this really cool knob here from a Gemma Optics. Great accessory. It makes it so much easier. So when you're taking off, and in the video I show how to properly, the fixture I made to properly locate this and drill the holes. You don't want to make a mistake. And anyways, and what I like about it is, these are nice and shiny, slippery. So trying to get this off with, you can do it, okay, but with the bigger 130 and 175, it's almost mandatory unless you want to use two hands. With this, it's just so easy just to pull it off, just like this. Like I said, a really nice feature from a Gemma Optics. So that's something else that I have in this scope. So something else I want to talk about is, just as anyone knows that's gotten anything from Astro-Physics, is their attention to detail. So you've got the box that the Pelican case came in, fits in an outer box, and then they have these styrofoam pieces that surround all four corners, then another piece that goes on top so that your equipment comes to you in good order. And the 110 refractor is inside that Pelican case, and so that's why they take so much care that you receive everything in good order by packaging it very securely. So as would be expected, I've got a scope that is outfitted a certain way. It's got certain dimensions, and trying to find a case that is not overly huge is the issue. You've got the length, the width, and the height, and they don't always come together. So what I ended up getting is the Pelican 1605, and it is the Pelican Air. This comes with 5 latches, 3 in the front and then 1 on each end like you see here. And these are nice because it's got this safety feature. You've got to push in the center knob that lifts it up, and then you can hear a little, it's got some retention thing here, so when you lift it up, it doesn't fall down. So what I've got here is a sheet 54 inches long by 24 inches wide by 1/2 inch thick. And then I also bought some that were 54 by 24 by 1/4 inch thick. My thought being that I can always glue these together to get an exact thickness rather than buying one specific thickness, because I wasn't quite sure at the time when I bought these. I bought a bunch of this stuff for ongoing projects. Now, I bought these from the foam factory in Macomb, Michigan. Actually went there, picked them up. Their number's 586-627-3626. This particular stuff is 1.7 pound density charcoal polyethylene foam. As you can see, I'm gonna cut some strips here, and I just use a straight edge. I measure over what I want, which in this case is 5 inches. Then I just use one of these silver markers and made that line. And then I think what I'm going to do is probably just split that line. So I'm not going to cut on either side of it. I'll just cut right on that line. This isn't anything that's got to be exact. So we're not building a church. Got to tell you, this cut really nice. Now, I'm not as steady as I used to be. You can see I was trying to cut out the line. You can see where I split that line here and kind of got off. In my younger days as a carpenter, I would have done a whole lot better without any kind of edge guides, but you know how that goes when you get a little older. But what did a hell of a nice job is this Hamilton Beach, and I'm sure any knife like that, electric knife, would work. But I bought this off of Amazon the other day specifically, and I don't cook, so I'm not going to need to cut anything. I bought this specifically just for cutting foam. Did a beautiful job. Now if I can just stay on the line. And this is the one I bought, and it even states in here, perfect for meat, bread, and craft projects. Now, I didn't try a utility knife. My thought being a utility knife on something like this is going to drag and tear it. That electric knife did a beautiful job, just sliced right. So let's see how this cuts. Now, I do put some weight on here because that way I can hold the tail piece here as I cut it. The piece I want is this piece. Otherwise, it's so light it just moves around. Just like cutting butter. Another thought that I had as to cutting this was using my table saw. I've got a 10-inch industrial unisaw Rockwell from back in the early 80s, and it's got a huge 3 horsepower motor. Works on 110 or 220. I've got it wired for 220. This is back when a 3-horse motor was huge. It's not some of this stuff you see, these air compressors today with a 3-horse motor. They look like a toy. But my thought was maybe using the carbide tip blade, but you know, this cutting knife works so well that I'm not sure that the table saw wouldn't tear into this. I don't know. I just didn't try it though. I don't know if anybody else has used the table saw to cut this. Let me know. Another thought, guys, as I do this is, if I had thicker material, I'm not sure how square I would be. It's fairly easy cutting this and keeping it square. If it was thick, you know, the blade might be a bit on an angle, and then this wouldn't be so square. But that's another reason why I chose to go with some thinner pieces and just laminate them together. I think I can use hot glue. I'll give that a try. I don't want to use any kind of glue that's going to outgas. Okay guys, so what I want to do now is test this with the hot glue gun. So I used some scrap pieces, and what we're going to do is that, and I'm going to put that on there like that. what I want to do is see how well that holds. And basically what I'd be doing is just making a few stripes like that just to hold them together. Nothing real critical. So I'm going to let that dry and we'll see how that works out. Well, there you see it. It's actually pretty nice. So I didn't know if that the heat of the glue gun would deteriorate or melt this, but so what I'm going to do is, as I lay that out, laminate those together. I'm just probably going to use a few spots just to hold it. This is nothing, you know, as long as it holds it together in a few areas, each piece together with the other, this is all I'm looking for. Yeah, that'll be perfect. So I want to show you something for future reference. You'll see why I'm doing this. Straight edge across there, the lid. Well, boys and girls, there you have it. Real simple project. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. And there's just, I mean, it just fit perfect between end to end. And what I ended up doing is, to save a little bit on material, is on both sides here, I didn't need one of the cutoffs. I just put them here because all I wanted to do was make my thickness. So I've actually got 2 inches here. These are 1/2 inch times 4, 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and we've got 3 in the back, which is plenty. I mean, plenty of protection. And what's interesting is, you know how when you start a project, sometimes they evolve as you're doing it, and they change from what you originally wanted to do. Normally I'll take the handle off the scopes when they're in the case, but in this particular one, here's what I did. Glued 3 of these together, and these are just cutoffs. Glued 3 of these together. Now, got plenty of room to get in here, pull the scope out, use it. When I'm done, when I put it back in the case, you've got the handle here. These 3, I just take it, push it down in there, gives a nice snug fit, and there you are. Extremely happy with this. I'm glad that, and again, this is a give and take. It's not as small and elegant as Roland's, doesn't have the wheels to roll it, but for what I want, this does exactly what I want. I can maintain the way I've got my scope set up, and I do believe this is a carry-on size. I do believe they said it was carry-on size for an airplane. But anyways, so there it is. Really happy with it. Now, one thing. When we close the lid, we've got these locking knobs on the 10-inch saddle. So, I wasn't concerned about that. I'll show you. It's gonna raise. It's gonna, with this foam in the back, which I'm gonna keep, obviously. It pushes up against it, and it pushes it up just a little bit. But let's just say I'm carrying this, and I was to drop this case from a carried height. You've got all this foam padding around it. If this is hit hard, let's just say it fell on the face of the lid, I don't see where there's any issue, because the optics aren't going to take any of that. I don't know if it'll transfer some, but again, from carrying it from the handle, I don't see there to be an issue with this. And so let me show you. So you can immediately see that wants to pop it up a little bit. So we'll close and lock it down, and it humps it up just a little bit. So this clearly shows where that 10-inch saddle plate, those locking knobs, raise the lid a little bit with all the latches closed, but that doesn't bother me at all. And another thing, here's that knob for the dew shield from a Gemma, and one of the gentlemen on the Astrophysics forum had mentioned if this was in a case and it fell, would there be an issue with this possibly collapsing the cover and hitting the optic? Could be. In this particular case, I'm not worried at all. First off, the Astrophysics dew shield is heavy material. We've got 2 inches of this foam here, so I just don't see that being an issue. I had some ideas of what I might do, but once I got into the project and saw this, I thought there's no reason for it. One other thing I neglected to say, when I glued these together, I just spotted them. Each one of these, whether they're long or short, just have 3 dabs in the center, and the glue holds it. So, like I said, real simple to do. But getting back to the knob here, I don't foresee any problems if I did drop this.